I'm here on the second floor of St. Catharines City Hall to check out an exhibit called Urban Metamorphosis. Now what this is a look at how the cityscape of St. Catharines has evolved through the years, and it's also a look into the future and what is to come. I got a chance to chat with Rebecca Kahn, who explains some of the different exhibits to me and to find out a little bit more about our history and our future. Let's check it out.
Everybody knows that there are all these sorts of different big projects going on in our community right now, and we decided it was an opportunity to really celebrate the development that's going on in St. Catharines, but also the history behind those developments. I think that we're in a constantly changing process as communities from one decade to the next. There are always new things in our landscape, and we wanted to look a little more closely at some of those major changes that are going on right now. Our earliest documentation is almost 200 years old. We have land records from some of the early settlement that happened in St. Catharines that's now being developed. So we do have information about original landowners, how they arrived in St. Catharines. We have maps of the early history of St. Catharines, as well as more recent photographs from the last century. The first development that we're celebrating is the new hospital that's being built out on 4th Avenue. So we have some beautiful architectural renderings here so people can see what the hospital is going to look like when it's actually finished. And you got a view of inside the hospital, what it's going to look like, as well as the outside landscape and the building itself. An image of what the actual lot was when it was first allocated to a family. And then we do have a picture of the old farmhouse that is no longer going to be on that site, but has been a home. It was a home for many years before the hospital was built. It's a location ticket from 1789 that tells us that Joseph Smith chose lots number 3 and 4 in the 5th concession. But we're not sure if he had land several years before that, but that's the first official notice of that plot of land being owned by somebody. So you can see the land before it was actually begun, the construction project, and you can see them shaping the actual foundation. And then the building was taking shape in July 2010, and July 2011 it's sort of got a significant shape now. That's begun in St. Catharines, and it's going to be finished in the very near future. Yeah, people can see the shape of the development as it was moving forward and the construction project moving forward. As well, we have some photos of early downtown St. Catharines, and our researcher and curator who did this exhibit, Michael DeYoung, actually found some very interesting information about a house that was across the street from the parking lot.
Is this the octagon house that we see here?
That's right. It was built in the 1850s when they were in fashion for about 5 minutes, as they were thought to enhance well-being through improved natural lighting and additional living space. A plan that was created for downtown in the 1970s, 1971. Okay. It was an urban renewal plan for downtown St. Catharines, and you will see there's a pyramid in downtown, and it basically looks like the idea back in 1971 was to tear down everything and rebuild. It was actually a very popular undertaking in the 50s and 60s, was to come up with an entire new plan for a downtown. People were trying to figure out what to do with the old downtowns and thought that the best idea was to actually tear them down and build something new. The Arts Center fills that whole corner there. Yeah. And of course it backs onto what is going to be the future home of Brock University's Marilyn I. Walker School of Fine and Performing Arts. That's the McIntyre building here, which is what people would know as the Passfield building. So that was one of the most recently demolished buildings on the site. But in earlier days, we actually had a theater on that site as well, the Capitol Theater, which was a movie house in downtown St. Catharines. It was an historic theater, and you can see the ad on the side of the building for Stanley Livingstone. This is what used to be on the Arts Center site. So this is a Port Dalhousie development that people are very familiar with. This
is the one that's going on on now, is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and this is the only private sector development that we have included in this exhibit. And everybody knows how contentious the development has been, but it's a significant development. It's a significant investment on the part of the private sector. So we wanted to celebrate what it's going to be like, again, with architectural renderings, and provide people with the site plan so they can see how the development is going to be formulated. It includes a condo, a theater, a hotel, and cafes and retail space. But certainly the intent is that it's going to actually really revitalize Port Dalhousie and provide that economic renewal that retailers and business people are looking for. They can start at the City of St. Catharines website, www.stcatharines.ca, and that site term will direct them to the St. Catharines Museum as well as to the St. Catharines Public Library. And if people are really intent on looking for more information historically about sites or their families, etc., the Mayholm Foundation has a link through the city's website, and Brock University has a special collections library that's also a really valuable resource in the community.